Okay, so I'm going to talk about the fact that Joe Rogan keeps going on and on about what he claims are the dangers of trans women fighting cis women in MMA. Now, I'm not going to go into debunking that. There's plenty of information out there. This video isn't really about that. This video is about the fact that this is the wrong conversation to be having about the safety of women in martial arts. You know, the vast majority of women in martial arts who go to martial arts lessons will never see a trans woman in a lesson. They're not going to go to MMA, they're not going to fight in UFC, and anyone that do, hardly any of them will be actually fighting trans women either. So this is just a non-issue for the vast majority of cis women who go to martial arts lessons. On top of that, it distracts from the real problem, the real conversation that you really need to be having about the safety of women in martial arts, and that is all the abuse they get for being women. Misogynist abuse, okay? They get creeped on by their teachers or abused in various ways by their teachers and their fellow male students. You know, the biggest danger for cis women in martial arts are the cisgender male teachers. That's really the problem. It's not trans women. Okay, certainly not trans women in MMA. And it feels like this is kind of a deliberate distraction. Like, I don't think Joe Rogan for a second wants to talk about that. I really don't. Now, I've argued a lot with transphobes who agree with him about this on Twitter and on YouTube. Some of them are to do with martial arts. Maybe they just watch martial arts videos. I think some of them do actually go to lessons. Some of them are what's widely known as TERFs or gender criticals. They're people, usually women, who weaponise feminism to justify their bigotry about trans women. And they all go on about this quite a lot, and they all claim that every woman will easily be knocked out by every man, including me, and I tell them about my own experience and, you know, the fact that my teacher's scared of me and all of his students and all that. They refuse to believe it. They refuse to acknowledge the possibility that I might actually be able to fight a man. They're always telling me I will easily be knocked out by any man. And it's disgusting and it's disgraceful, because what they're actually doing is undermining the possibility of women being able to defend themselves in martial arts. Like, we're told that women need to go to martial arts lessons to learn to defend themselves. And who are they mostly defending themselves against? Well, it's men, isn't it? Often their partners. And when you go on and on about trans women like this, anyone who does, what they're doing is they're telling women they can never ever learn to fight against men. Because if you're saying that women who are trained to fight can't even fight trans women, then you are saying that women can't ever learn to fight men. That's what you are saying. And it's a deliberate self-fulfilling prophecy, frankly. That's what it is. They just don't want women to be able to fight men. There's this... I sometimes talk about mixed gender fighting, and I don't think that there will be mixed gender fighting in MMA for a long time. And it's not because women can't fight men. It's not because women will be easily destroyed by men in the octagon or whatever. That's not the reason at all. It's because men can't handle, on the whole, losing to women. And on top of that, a lot of men can't handle seeing men losing to women. That's what that's about. Because the reality is that weight classes would really account for, you know, the vast majority of any kind of muscular difference, any strength difference. So, and you'd end up with, you know, more men in the higher weight classes and more women in the lower weight classes. But on the whole, as long as you're just still dividing up by weight, it really shouldn't be a problem. And I've often had arguments about muscle mass and bone density and how, you know, even men of the same weight as women will still be stronger. It's kind of rubbish, really. And this is the thing. This is what Joe Rogan and all of those people really care about. What they really care about is reinforcing male supremacy. They don't care about the safety of women. If they cared about the safety of women, they would be talking about all those horrific abuses that women have to deal with from their cisgender male teachers and fellow students. That's what they would be talking about, and they never talk about it. Hardly anyone will ever acknowledge that problem. Instead, they go on about trans women like that's some kind of an issue, when it's not an issue for hardly anyone. It's ridiculous. It's just so horrible when I spent all these years and nobody seems to care about the real dangers for women. Certainly not Joe Rogan, certainly not those transphobes I argue with, because I bring up this problem of male teachers with them and they refuse to acknowledge that that's a problem. They won't talk about that. All they'll talk about is trans women in MMA. It's disgusting, it's horrible, it's not helping women, it's actually very harmful to women because it's distracting from the real problem. It's about time it stopped. And they've got no credibility at all. Like, nobody who goes on about trans women in MMA being a danger to cis women in MMA, you've got no credibility at all claiming that you care about the safety of women if you don't talk about the fact that cisgender men are the worst, biggest problem for women in martial arts. Anyway, so I had been thinking, I've been complaining about Joe Rogan for a long time. I do think he's extremely bad for martial arts culture, and this is one of the reasons. Well, you know, this is kind of an obvious thing that he does that's really terrible for women in particular. I was going to do like a big long video, a bit like I did with Jordan Peterson, but I didn't really want to watch more Joe Rogan experiences, to be honest with you. They're very dull for the most part. So I haven't done that that's why I never really did that. But I've kind of come to realise that it's not like you can just do Joe Rogan in one long video like that. Joe Rogan is an ongoing issue. And a lot of people are not prepared, in martial arts, are not prepared to acknowledge that he is actually a serious problem for martial arts culture. So I am going to do a regular thing, probably like once a week. It'd be easy enough to just pick up on one thing. I'll just like have to close my eyes and stick a pin in something that he said on social media, and there'll be something. So till next time.